How you all doing? Good to see you all. Yeah. I'm going to start like I always do by giving God all the glory. Is that okay, well, to God be the glory for all the great things he has done. It is my honor and pleasure to be here with you all today, and I want to thank you all for coming too. Um, I have some notes here, and I do want to share. I don't want to miss too many things, so it's important um, for me to thank my family who I have here with me today. I'm grateful for them. They're always with me. We've been through some challenging things. Buried my father, buried my mother, buried my daughter, and they have constantly stayed with me as I continued to ask, support me to go one more time, support me to go one more time. And they always have. And so I want to thank the amazing Democrats who circulated the petitions to get me on the ballot. Louder, okay. The amazing Democrats who circulated the petitions, not to mention the amazing Democrats who signed them, over 1,000 or so people. It is with enormous gratitude that I stand here today thanking them for their previous support. And I also want to thank people who are in this room that have been with me from day one, and they still are here. So I thank you guys more than you can imagine. Just a few weeks ago, I stood in the same spot to say I was running for office. But sometimes we plan and God plans. And I personally know that God specializes in planning. I know that, I understand it, and I'm okay with it. So I'm told this by Jeremiah 29:11, that, sometimes you just have to slow down, settle down, and let new opportunities happen. And that's the message I've been giving. So next week this time, I will still be recuperating from a procedure that I'm going to go through at the ECMC hospital. Very well prepared doctors and clinicians. I have no concerns about that at all. However, in about 2 or 3 weeks after that, I'll be back in Albany to finish up my last term because I will not run for reelection. It's been a great ride. I've enjoyed the entire time. I went there with a focus, and let me give credit to Brian Higgins right now because he was in the assembly when I got there. And he said, if you want to get anything done, stay focused. Don't jump around from issue to issue. It's exactly what I did. I stayed focused. And I also want to recall my Aunt Emily, who came to Buffalo. She lived in Georgia at the time. She came to Buffalo when I was running for the county legislature. And her and my mother and all my aunties, they were all excited. But when she got here, she said, Crystal, I don't know why you want to do this. These people, you can't trust them. They're going to stab you in the back. It's not going to be good for you. I said, no, Auntie, I believe I can go there and treat people like I want to be treated and receive the same treatment from them. So Aunt Emily died at 100 years ago, 2 years ago. But every year I would call her and say, Aunt Emily, I made it another year. Nobody stabbed me. I did get a few negative comments, but they didn't hurt so bad, and I was able to come back in a way that moved us all forward. And so to have a thought that some people think that there's something that's negative about government and that you can't govern in doing things for people and having them then, of course, do things for you, because there's no way you can get anything done in government without people on your side. You just don't work that way. It's really rewarding for me to have accomplished what I have accomplished. And I'm grateful for it, and I know that at some point there'll be a new opportunity. I don't know what that is, but I know God does, and I'll be ready when he shows me what it is. I want to give a huge, an amazing gratitude to Carl Hastie, because he did not have to select me to be the majority leader. In fact, some people told him, you can't do that. The Attorney General, Letitia James, has already been elected. Andrea Stewart Cousins has already been selected to be the leader of the Senate. You can't have all minority leadership. Well, I guess Carol heard that in one ear, but it went out the other one, and he called me up and said, you got to do this. It's clear, you know, no one ever said that when this whole state over 200 years had all the same people in leadership. They didn't look like me. They weren't my gender, but they were in leadership, and they led the state to where we got to. And I think under his leadership, we've led the state to a good place as well. And so I want to honor Carol Hasty, a good friend and a great leader, and I know he'll find the right person to replace me because he found me. And I know he has the skill set to do that. Again, I began my political service wanting to do a couple things. I wanted to focus on the environment because, you know, most of us as people of color live in communities where that is not safe. So I wanted to focus on that. And right away after I got to Albany, I actually lobbied to get on the Environmental Conservation Committee. I used lobbyists to help me get there because it was like a coveted committee when I got to the assembly. And I was like, I really do have to be on this committee because there's a hazardous waste site across the street from True Bethel Church on East Ferry Street. People said, you'll never get that done. Well, in a matter of 2 years, that was cleaned up to the tune of multiple millions of dollars. So I've always stayed focused on environmental issues. I've always stayed focused on economic issues because I think that's the savior of my people, is having opportunities for economics, in the same way that all other people have opportunity for economics. So I fought and demanded things for MWBE. I fought and demanded the opportunity for emerging managers to have access to the same level of investment strategies that other people have with the New York State Pension Fund, the Teachers Retirement System, the Compensation Fund. I was at an event not long ago in Albany, and there were literally 800 people who attended the Emerging Managers Conference with the state controller. That wasn't there before. That is an opportunity to get people access to economics. So I'm grateful for those sorts of things. And I, you know, didn't really think it was the brightest thing to do to legalize cannabis until I understood that it's an economic opportunity. And it's also an opportunity to get people's records sealed and expunged, to give them a second chance at life while the majority of the country or the state enjoys the opportunity to partake in cannabis. It was only a few of us that was getting locked up and having records and destroying our families and destroying our communities as a result of it. That has changed. And so I've accomplished what I want to accomplish. I wanted to focus on environment. I wanted to focus on economic development and people having access to jobs and people having access to creating jobs. And I wanted to focus on education. We still have some more work to do on education, okay? That's coming soon. It's not where it should be yet, but it is getting there. And so I did the things that I thought was right to do. There's a lot of specificity I can give you around that, but you know, that can come later. Lastly, I want to say this. Today I'm going to be filing a certificate of declination, which is a legal process you have to take when you're not going to stay on the ballot where your name has, signatures have been collected for you. This is going to trigger the vacancy committee to meet really soon and decide who that person should be that replaces my name on the petitions. This is something that has to happen by the 14th of this month. I have been in conversation with the chair of the party. I have been in conversation with a few of the people who are on the vacancy committee. And I'm confident that they're going to come up with the right decision. And it's going to be theirs, the vacancy committee. It's a perfectly legal process. It does not necessarily break any rules. We stand tight to the rules. And at the end of the day, someone else will be running in this position. And whomever that is, I pray to God that it ends up being somebody who understands state government, has partnerships already in state government, understands municipal government, and has a love of people first and foremost. And understand that there's nothing about this job that makes you honorable if you're not taking care of God's people. So with that, I will close. I will take a few questions, and I'm glad you all are here. Good to see you.
Thank you, Mr. Stokes. Thank you.
President. Why now? Well, I thought it was the time 6 years ago, and I got talked out of it. I thought it was the time 4 years ago, and again, I was talked out of it. I thought it was the time when my staff driver took another job, and I had to end up figuring out how to drive there by myself. And next thing I know, I had a speaker and a state car. So I kept staying because people wanted me to keep staying. But, when you get a message like the one I got, that I'm going to be taking care of my health next week, you have to listen. And a guy said this in my opening comments. I believe in Jeremiah 29:11, that I know God knows what plans he has for me. And if he wants to detract me right now, detract me, and I'll figure out what's next.
When you look back on your career, what do you hope is your legacy in this district?
Well, I believe my legacy in this district is very strong. It's very bright. People sometimes ask me, particularly younger people, when I go and talk to in classrooms, well, what exactly is your job? My job is helping people, and I have done that. So I believe the legacy is strong. Oh, there's so many of them. There's so many of them. That makes me think about that question. Makes me think about Bob Wilmers and the little gleam that he had in his eye when he called a delegation meeting to come and discuss that there was this gentleman who had a lot of money that he was going to invest in the AKG museum, but he needed to have some support from government. And we all sat around and listened to him very well, but when everybody else left, he asked me to stay. And it was this little glitter in his eye that said, you can make this happen. And I did. That was the tune of $8 million. And so when people have confidence in you that way, and you have confidence in yourself, you can move it to the next level. And thankfully, again, to Speaker Hasty, he came to Buffalo and delivered exactly what that amount that Bob Wilmers asked for that museum. And so that's one of the things. Not to mention the historic museum district, the historic Michigan Avenue district, that we actually passed legislation to make it a heritage corridor. And you can see the growth that's come from that. There are a lot of people who look for shiny new museums, but in Buffalo, we're fortunate enough to have period-style museums. The same places where people moved in decades ago to make history are still in our community, and we're still being heralded. To me, that's one of the other important issues that I needed to do because, I'm like 4 generations from enslaved people, and many of us didn't get to know our history. So when we find it out, we got to share it. And I really want to commend the people who maintain this corridor at this point in life because it's really growing by leaps and bounds. So that's another thing that I'm still very proud of. I'm proud of all the work that we've done around hospitals too. As you know, in Western New York, our real industry, some people call it meds and beds, meaning meds and eds, brothers, meaning higher ed and hospitals. And so I've always kind of focused in those areas. I've maintained great relationships with all the leaderships at all the major universities and colleges in the area. And when they needed something and I could be helpful, I did that. I also want to, just point out the role that I play in the business community. And I play a good role there too because I understand that government and business they should be cooperating with each other. One cannot work without the other. People say government should act like a business. No, it shouldn't. It should deal with businesses that can help them get the work done that people need. And so um, I believe my, you know, commitment to both business and community and government really comes from my upbringing. My father was one of 7, and they ran tobacco farms. Probably had sheds in them with tobacco as big as this building. There was more than one of them on the property. Property still belongs in the family. And my mother was one of 13 that were sharecroppers. And so I understand business, and I also understand the need for when people have needs and how you have to be able to, in a position where you can help them. So it's all about my upbringing, and I think all of that has come to fruition in the work that I have done for my people. I'm sorry, you're going to say that again. Well, some of it is this little lady right here led to my decision. A huge piece of it. As I mentioned, you know, I've been in office longer than my grandson is old. He wasn't even born yet when I was in office. And, you know, now he has a daughter. And I just really think it's time to have some focus on them, particularly given that, you know, my daughter is not living out. I'm here for them. And sometimes you got to be in Buffalo to do that. And sometimes you have to be going places where she wants to go. Like little girls want to go, little girls want to see. Even though she's been to Albany, she didn't mind it so much. But, you know, I really want to spend more time with family. And, you know, I think I do have health issues that I want to deal with. And I don't think it will call for me going another year at 75 years old to Albany for 6 months out of the year every week. So I know it's time. What do I see the future of who replaces me being? Well, I think I laid that out pretty clearly in my beginning comments on that. It has to be someone who understands state government, understands the leadership, and quite frankly has a relationship with the leadership in state government, is already in partnership in government, understands municipal government, and has a love for the people. So when I did talk to Jeremy Zellner, I suggested to him that it should be Leah Halton Pope, but that doesn't mean that that's what it has to be. And honestly, when I make calls to the remainder of the people who I haven't spoken to in the vacancy committee, I have spoken to some of them, I'm going to suggest that as well. And I will hope and pray that, you know, if people have the same interests in what the 141st district needs, what Western New York needs, what the state of New York needs, I think they will agree with me. What about Jerry Zonar? Let me see, what is today? Today is Wednesday. I spoke to him Monday. I think it's all doable. I know that, you know, this job it's on the job training. You either already know it or you walk in the door and you got to figure out how to learn it. Now, some people it takes longer to do that and some people it doesn't. So I think anybody who follows me will have the opportunity to be as successful. It's kind of bittersweet, honestly. It's been a good run. I've enjoyed it, but I do look forward to a future. What that future looks like, I don't know that yet, but I'm perfectly willing to stay in God's will, and I know He'll show me at some point.